The 1966 FIFA World Cup was a tournament that changed England from a perennial underachiever to finally claiming the title of world champions. But how did England transform from constant World Cup failure into glory? This is the story of the 1966 FIFA World Cup. One reason for their success came in 1960, as England secured the bid to host the World Cup, winning over competing bids from West Germany and Spain. This marked the first time an English-speaking nation would host the tournament. England would play all of their games at Wembley. Another major reason for England's triumph was the appointment of Alf Ramsey as manager in 1963. He earned the job by guiding Ipswich Town from the 3rd Division to a top division title in just 7 years. He was an authoritative figure who demanded full control over squad selection. England went into the tournament feeling confident. They had a young squad with only 4 players over the age of 30, but it was filled with talented future legends. Ramsey prioritised a rock-solid defensive foundation that consisted of Gordon Banks in goal, with captain Bobby Moore and Jack Charlton in central defence. Crucially, he also selected tough-tackling Nobby Stiles in defensive midfield, a selection he was criticised for. Ramsey would set England up in a 4-1-3-2 formation, with Bobby Charlton playing in a more advanced central midfield position. Before moving on to the main tournament, I would appreciate a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'll be continuing my series on the World Cup with the 1970 edition in 2 weeks. Thank you. England was drawn in Group 1, which many considered the group of death. It consisted of Uruguay, Mexico, and France. England opened their campaign against Uruguay. The game proved to be a cagey affair, and it finished goalless. The negative impact of the result was somewhat negated as France was surprisingly held to a 1-1 draw by Mexico. In their second game, England played Mexico and came out more attacking and would dominate the first half. They made the most of it, with Bobby Charlton scoring one of the most spectacular goals of the tournament. In the 37th minute, he picked up the ball on the halfway line and charged towards the 25-yard line, unleashing a thunderous right-foot strike into the top left corner that sent the crowd into a frenzy. Roger Hunt would seal a 2-0 win with a tap-in after a goalkeeping mistake. In their third game against France, England knew a win would give them the top spot in the group after Mexico held Uruguay to a goalless draw. England would go on to dominate the game. Roger Hunt opened the scoring with a controversial goal after 38 minutes. The French protested that he was offside, but the goal stood. Hunt sealed the 2-0 win in the 75th minute with a header that French keeper Marcel Aubert failed to parry. England topped the group with 5 points. They scored 4 goals and conceded none in their 3 games. As Group 1 winners, England was drawn against Group 2 runners-up Argentina. The game would go on to be one of the most controversial in World Cup history. The game was riddled with fouls and physicality from the get-go. Most of the first half was played deep in Argentinian territory, as they defended strongly but effectively. The most controversial moment came after half an hour. England were awarded a free kick after a foul on Roger Hunt. Argentina captain Antonio Ratin protested with the German referee Rudolf Kreitlein. They argued with each other despite not speaking the same language. Incredibly, a few moments later off the ball, Ratin was sent off for dissent. Ratin claimed he was pointing to his arm to say he was captain, whilst Rudolf saw this as an offensive gesture. This led to huge protests as the game was halted for 9 minutes as Ratin seemed confused as to what happened. There were no red cards in those days, so the ref simply pointed to the tunnel. Once Ratin understood he was sent off, he refused to leave before finally being escorted off. He would later say it was clear that the referee played with an England shirt on. Argentina played the rest of the game with 10 men as Geoff Hurst sealed a 1-0 win with 12 minutes to go. Hurst was making his debut in the tournament after Jimmy Greaves had suffered a shin injury. It was after the final whistle that the controversy reached a whole new level. In a now iconic photo, Alf Ramsey physically stopped 𝐬𝐻∗ from swapping shirts with Argentina players, as he said, "George, you are not changing shirts with that animal." Argentina players threw punches and chairs and spat as they walked down the tunnel and into the changing rooms. An Argentinian spokesman said, "I do not approve of the conduct of our players and officials," but they were provoked by the referee. He was absolutely biased in favour of England. Argentina were not the only ones unimpressed with the ref's performance. Brian Glanville of the Sunday Times wrote, "A small man, strutting portentously around the field, bald, brown head gleaming in the sunshine as he put name after Argentinian name into his notebook. One was reminded of a schoolboy collecting railway engine numbers. In the end, 3 Argentinians were booked alongside the sending off of Ratin. No England player received a yellow card. The final tally was 19 fouls by Argentina and 33 by England. England faced high-scoring Portugal in the semi-finals. Portugal was the informed team of the tournament. They had topped a group which had reigning champions Brazil. They followed that by coming back from 3-0 down against surprise package North Korea to win the quarter-final 5-3. 𝐬𝐮𝐫𝐞 scored an incredible 4 goals in the comeback win. The semi-final match was scheduled to be held at Goodison Park, but was changed to Wembley the day before for commercial reasons, according to FIFA's English president Sir Stanley Rous. This caused Portugal to take a train down to London the night before the game. Portugal played nervously from the kickoff as Ramsey ordered Nobby Stiles to man-mark 𝐬𝐮𝐫𝐞, denying him any space and chance to influence the game. England started stronger and were rewarded with a goal after 30 minutes. A long ball was cleared by the Portuguese keeper José Pereira, but it fell to Charlton, who fired in a low shot into the empty net. Portugal played with more energy and purpose in the second half. They had a couple of penalty appeals denied and some chances, but failed to equalise. In the 80th minute, England launched a long ball to Hurst, who managed to play the ball to Charlton, who rifled home his second goal of the game. Portugal continued to attack with even more desperation and was awarded a penalty after Jack Charlton intentionally handled the ball to stop a goal-scoring opportunity. 𝐬𝐮𝐫𝐞 dispatches the penalty, but England holds on to win 2-1. The 1966 FIFA World Cup final took place at Wembley Stadium on the 30th of July 1966. England played West Germany, who beat the Soviet Union 2-1 in their semi-final. It proved to be an entertaining final. Germany started stronger and took a deserved lead after 11 minutes through Helmut Haller. He scored after Ray Wilson failed to clear the ball with a header. In the 18th minute, England was awarded a free kick which Bobby Moore decided to take quickly, and he floated across to Hurst, who scored with a free header. The first half ended 1-1. In the second half, England were stronger. They created more chances and pressure on the German goal. They capitalised in the 77th minute. Alan Ball crossed the ball into Hurst, whose deflected shot fell to Martin Peters. He fired the ball in from about 8 yards. Germany pressed for an equaliser, and in the 89th minute, they won a free kick in a dangerous position. The resulting cross was deflected and bounced between players before falling to German Wolfgang Weber, who levelled the score 2-2. Alf Ramsey proved to be pivotal in the break before extra time. He told his exhausted players to stand up and not look tired to the Germans. He then famously said, "You've won it once, now you'll have to go out there and win it again." His rallying call worked as England played on the front foot. Bobby Charlton hit the post within a few minutes and also had another shot just wide. 11 minutes into extra time, Hurst would score one of the most contentious goals in World Cup history. He received a cross from Alan Ball and swivelled before hitting a shot against the crossbar, before it bounced very close to the goal line before being cleared. Assistant referee Tofik Baumarov from Azerbaijan awarded the goal despite German protests. It is a goal that remains controversial to this day. Germany would attempt to equalise for the remainder of the game, but with 1 minute to go, England counter-attacked. Bobby Moore picked up the ball and played a long ball to put Hurst through. As Hurst ran towards goal, some fans began running onto the pitch. BBC commentator Kenneth Wolstenholme would famously say, "And here comes Hurst. He's got... Some people are on the pitch. They think it's all over. It is now. It's 4." As Hurst fired into the roof of the net to seal his hat-trick and a famous 4-2 win for England. England were finally World Cup champions. Notable stats include 89 goals were scored from 32 matches, an average of 2.78 per match. 1.5 million fans attended the games, an average of almost 49,000 per match. 𝐬𝐮𝐫𝐞 won the Golden Boot with 9 goals in 6 games. Portugal top-scored with 17 goals. England scored 11 goals and conceded 3 in their 6 matches. This was the lowest for both by any World Cup champion at that time. The final was the last to be broadcast in black and white. Well, there you have it. That was the story of how England won the 1966 FIFA World Cup. If you want to know more about the 1970 edition, please hit subscribe and that notification bell. Thanks for watching.